Yep.
I hope it's good. Are you going on there? Yeah, we were moving on.
so that you're not trying to eat while we're asking questions. Or you can talk while other people are asking questions. For those looking for water, there is no water out there as well if you paid for the, or if you paid for the luncheon. She hears an echo loud.
That it's coming through when she's looking at the live feed.
No, she hears an echo when I talk.
I've only got one microphone going right now.
Okay.
That one's turned off. That one's turned off there, and that one's turned off on the microphone itself. I think these two mics are clearer than that one right now.
Hey. Hey, old neighbor. How are you? You guys remember me?
Yeah.
We were in the same ward for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How are your parents doing?
They're still doing well right there. I think they're gradually thinking of moving up onto the ground floor.
Of the house. They're getting that house.
Grandma hasn't been there since November.
His youngest dad's taking care of him now.
And that's just like 5 minutes from the oldest grandchild, my brother. So
But
she's well taken care of.
we're up in Pleasantview now, so we're really
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pleasantview.
Up 500.
Well, up 4,200.
Nearly the top of 500.
Yeah.
Really? So that was my ward growing up.
Uh-huh.
The top of 500 it used to curve to the left, and then they built a new road. There's the fire station.
Yep.
So Christopher's still lived there.
Yes, been helping Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah, and I grew up with her son. And
George died about the time we moved to.
Yep, George. He was a great scout leader. But yeah, that's a great place
We're
to live.
in the old Wildman house.
Wildman house.
Went to Wildman.
Now I know the house at the top is that in the ground house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Hanson's now.
And then you guys down from that, I assume?
Yep.
We're not on, we're on 4,200 near 500.
We're right around the McKays from Charlotte. Well, yeah.
So there's the Lee's still there? In that white house? The house faces the north. So when you go up and if you turn left at the top of 500 and go
We're
west.
We're across from a little white house that's being rented out to some wild family.
Yeah.
Yep. And we face south.
We face
Okay. Other side.
Now let me turn this one.
Want to take a seat? We'll get started.
Welcome. You're free to take whatever seats are available. Thank you. Just wanted to say welcome and big welcome to all our candidates that are here. We're so excited to hear from you today. This is the Weaver County Republican Women's monthly luncheon. This month we're focusing on the municipal candidates that are running. So we would like to start with just a few procedural things. So first we have a prayer by Roxanne, and then Jared Passman will lead us in the pledge.
As people in the county concerned about what's happening, to ask Father to help us with the protect our ask that we can be very respectful to one another and answer questions, be able to answer those questions in a manner that we satisfy our curiosities. We say these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So Jerry's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. Jerry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
now is the report from our treasurer.
Hi, we're so glad to see all of you here. We started out this last month with a balance of $3,155.41. We deposited $670 in the last luncheon, of which that included 5 memberships, 2 of which were new, donations of $40. We spent checks of $915.83 to give us a balance of $2,909.58.
Okay, well, we would like to get started with our candidates. First of all, I want to thank all of you who are here and for your willingness to run. What an amazing commitment it is for you personally and professionally. I know this has impacted your lives in a big way over the last year. Thank you for running, making that commitment. That's sacrifice to run. That's a big deal. But we would like to have each of you, I know you're already just started your lunch, but if you'll come up to the front, those who are candidates. And I'd like you kind of to be in maybe groups, so maybe Ogden over here, and then we'll do North Ogden, South Ogden. We've got Roy, West Haven, Far West, Uinta. Anyway, trying to get together. And I'm going to have you introduce yourselves, and each of you, I've asked the candidates to respond to the question. What is the most pressing issue in your community, and what would be your approach to resolving it? So they're going to respond individually to that question, and then we're going to have to divide up, and they've got their signs around here in the room. Divide up, and then you can go to them, ask questions, meet them personally. Okay? Let's get the candidates up here. So maybe we can have Ogden over here. I think we have all 7 candidates in one. So maybe South Ogden, North Ogden. Together.
I have a longer report.
Maybe we can take that down to Also, when you introduce yourself, please tell us the city and the office.
My name is Thomas Gooch. I'm running for Ogden City District 1. The most pressing issue in our community, I believe, is the separation of powers between the executive branch and the legislature. Right now, the mayor and his henchmen sit up on the stand with the city council and interfere with the process of making laws where the city council seems to just rubber stamp what the mayor wants.
Daniel Gladwell, I actually share, I first want to thank Ms. Brown. She's a long-time neighbor of mine, and she does a lot of work. I'm like Helen Cup, Republican. I've been precinct chair, been delegate several times. I'm proud to say I was part of 2010 when we ousted Bennett and put in Senator Lee. Since then, I haven't been really pleased with the Republican Party. I hope they clean it up a little bit. But honestly, I'm going to keep it short, and I'm just going to really agree with Thomas Gooch here. One of the biggest problems I see is really just the Ogden City thing. I think the outskirts of Ogden City, I think they still hold really strong conservative values. Unfortunately, I think that's lost inside of Ogden City. And a lot of the reason is because the city council just kind of is there to say, yeah, that sounds great. Mark Johnson, that sounds great. Mayor Caldwell. And they sign off on their tax increases. They sign off on their land buying. I think it's gotten out of control. So I think the city council needs to be a little stronger. Needs to be a little better to check on what they're doing. Again, my name is Daniel Gladwell. CA for Ogden City Council.
Right. Again, I also echo the appreciation to be here. My name is Ken Ritchie. I'm running for City Council in Ogden's District 3. I'm born and and raised here in Ogden. I grew up, went to Ogden High School, graduated from Weber State. For the last 23 years, I've lived in District 3, and so my wife reminds me that I've now lived in the Ben Lomond District longer than the Ogden High District, so when the Iron Force comes around, I'm obligated to recruit. No, that doesn't go. They get by, right? Anyway, we got divorced. It's next week, right? So, no, I'm excited to represent Ogden's District 3. I've worked in the area in financial planning, and there's a lot of great things happening. I wasn't motivated to run because I saw that there was something particularly wrong, or that I felt like I needed to make a major change or shift in anything. I do feel like I'm in a position, based on my experience and time working in different organizations, volunteering with the Chamber of Commerce, with the Weber State Wildcat Club, Boy Scouts of America, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, various leadership positions in those organizations. And I believe I can step forward and represent our community and understand what's going on there. As far as the kind of the number one issue, if I had to point to an issue, the thing that seems to be of the biggest concern with the residents of Ogden is all of the development going on around Ogden. And it almost feels like there's not a really broad view approach to what's going on. It's just, let's look at things individually and move forward. And so I understand, I recognize that there's probably information going on in the council that the public doesn't get to see, but the feeling I get from the public side is that, maybe some of the questions that I have and maybe some of the residents have, I don't know if they're being addressed, and I want to be involved in those discussions to make sure that we're looking at the impact on schools, the impact on traffic, and other things like that. I'm probably talking with you long. So Ken Ritchie with yeah.
Did he take some of my time? My name is Bart Blair. I'm on the city council. I've been there for 3 terms, seeking the 4th term. I'm at large seat B. I would like most of the people in Ogden City on city council. I was born and raised here, lived here my whole life. Most pressing issue that I see is continuing to have our general fund receive enough money through income tax, sales tax, or through sales tax and property tax to do those things that we want to do. We have a great community. We have a great city. We have resources that not many other cities around us have. We have beautiful mountains. We have a beautiful river. We have a wonderful downtown. And people are starting to realize that. People are starting to notice that. People want to be part of it. And that's why people are coming here. They're trying to move here. But we need to be able to, number one, find places for those people to live, find house all those people. We've got to figure out what are we going to do with our water. Water's a big issue. We've got to figure that out. I understand that zoning is a big issue. We've got to figure that out because we do need to take a large scale approach to how we're going to address these issues for the next 20 and 30 years. And we've got our public safety needs to be addressed. Those people work night and day because they love this community, not because they love their job, because they love this community. They could do that job anywhere else, and they choose to do it here. And we need to make sure that they are compensated for that. We continue to lose them to other bigger communities that pay them more. And we've got to make sure that our general fund and the money coming in is substantial enough to be able to pay for those services and other services that are coming down the pipeline. There's so many. The biggest issue I think is there's only one pot of money. Ogden City only has one pot of money. We're built out, and that's a problem. So we have to be very creative, and we have to be very strategic with where we choose to develop, where we choose to add housing, and where we choose to spend our money. And I think those are the issues that are going to be facing us, that have faced us for the last 12, and are going to continue to face us for the next 20.
Hi, I'm Marcia White. I am the incumbent in Ogden City Council Seat 8. I just thank you, Maureen, for putting this on and letting us get up here. To all of us that are in the arena, this is not always easy. But my background a little bit for those that don't know me, I'm an engineer by trade. I have my master's in public administration. I currently am the economic development director for the Wasatch Front Regional Council, and have spent some time in Salt Lake City as the director of community neighborhoods. So I have really a good background of both an administrative side and a legislative side. Bart touched on this a little bit, but I think one of the biggest things and the biggest challenges we're going to be facing in Ogden is trying to balance that growth with our infrastructure needs. Just so you know that, and maybe part of it is there's a financial sustainability that we need to look at. So for every residential unit, we get 55% of the property taxes, where in a commercial or retail, it's 100%. So balancing that need, if you look at Ogden right now, it would take a $600,000 home just to make sure that we cover our essential services in Ogden. And so it's not an easy task for us to sit up here and just have, easy, quick conversations about reducing taxes or reducing the budget, because there's more to it that goes into it. One of the things I also want to say is the infrastructure is really important. The state released $50 million in a grant. There was quite a few people across the state that applied for that grant. In fact, $1 billion in grant funding was applied for. Of that, about half of that was for infrastructure, water and sewer. And so we're going to be faced with that even at a local level, trying to figure out how to balance that growth with our infrastructure needs. Again, thank you for having us and hosting this. My name is Marcia White, and don't forget to vote by November 2nd.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Priscilla Martinez. I'm running for Ogden City Council District 3. I have worked in volunteer care for several years. I have a master's in public policy through Northwestern University that I was able to apply through this wonderful community of Ogden. I was a previous caseworker that helped families reunite with their children and provide them resources. In education, I worked with Ogden Weaver Technical College to help several families in Ogden go back to school and really change the lives of their families. I am now in healthcare. I work with Intermountain Healthcare, which my portfolio includes diabetes prevention and air quality. One of the biggest significant issues, I think there are several significant issues in Ogden, and that includes housing, which ties into development, our water shortage, and really increasing the communication between the people of Ogden and the city. It's no secret that the Ogden that we see now is different than the Ogden that we grew up in. Since 2016, housing prices have tripled in Weaver County. And it's no secret that we need a spectrum of housing to be able to sustain the future generation, including maybe our children that are looking to grow with their families, to grow their families. And just for a quick example, it's my husband and I purchased a condo several years ago, an older one, and now we're trying to expand our family. And unfortunately, as of now, we're probably priced out of Ogden. And so it's definitely a significant issue that we need to look at and see what we can do, what other communities are doing as well to tailor that to Ogden. But in reality, it starts with having increasing communication between the city and its people and the people of Ogden. And thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Angela Chaburka, and I'm the person representing District 1 in Ogden City right now. I'm just ending my first term, running for a second term, so I just don't feel like I've got the work done that I'd like to do. I think a lot of my colleagues have already mentioned a lot of the issues that I would say are the most pressing. One of the things I ran on the first time that I ran was to increase the transparency that many of my other council members actually strive for that as well, to build more trust in our governmental processes and to make sure that people really understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And so I feel like I've been really successful in helping to make that happen. There's these tensions that are happening that you're going to continue to hear about, right, or you've already heard about, around growth, around how do we do that and include as many voices as possible. How do we make sure that the current businesses are involved in these processes when new businesses are coming to town, etc. And so some of the things that I've done to help to get more voices involved in the council work is help to support committees like the Sustainability, the Natural Resources and Sustainability Committee, which was Councilmember White's proposals. We have that committee We also have the Marshall White Advisory Committee, which has a board of committee members that are helping us determine what to do about the Marshall White Center as it is now and what its future might be. We also have Diversity Commission, which we've definitely reached out to and gotten feedback from. And we also really want to encourage resident engagement as well. So we try to be more active on social media and different media types, as well as including people's voices and meeting them where they are. That's what I really think I'm really good at, is building relationships in the community, going to where the people are versus having them come to us all the time. So I just am really excited that so many people are involved and engaged in this process this year, and hope that you'll research your candidates and then get out there and vote.
I will put timer in my phone. I will respect our people. Thank you so much to be here. Thank you to try to choose the best person to take care. My name is Sebastian Benitez. I am running for CP, large CP, my last name. I am immigrant. I am living here for 21 years. I made Alden my hometown. And I bring my family here from Paraguay, South America. I told my family, we are going to make Alden our hometown. If you don't understand very well to me, it's because I have a braces. If you get braces when you are old like me, you will know how hurt. Even when we are eating, we challenge. My little son is 12 and he get down and I get together with him and I said, if you get, I will. Anyway, I am involved in the community for the last six years. And out there, you know. I was knocking the door in the chamber almost every month, sometimes more than 1 month. One time, you know, off month. And this guy knows me very well, and sometimes I feel they hate me because I complain for many things. The big issue I see in Alden is our voice. I understand the administration do not represent the voice of the community. The community wanted something, but they are doing something different. If you look how they vote, you will understand it. For the last 20 years, I was pushing so much sidewalk, and many people running talk about sidewalk, and they don't do anything. And that is my concern, because I was knocking the door so many times. We have 36th Street sidewalk with zero money from you guys. My time is over. That is my point. I see we need to hear better the community. That is my concern.
My name is Jeremy Howe, and I am running for the 4-year seat in South Ogden. And if you can't understand me, it's because I'm a car salesman and I just talk really fast. So I am a husband and a father of 3. I have lived in South Ogden for about 9 years, and I graduated with my graduate degree here at Weber State University. And I love the community I live in. Absolutely love it. When I moved into this home, I told my wife, I said, this is where we're going to die. Maybe not in the home. I don't know if I'm going to die in the house, but that's where we're going to live. I've been sitting on the Planning Commission for about 5 years, 6 years now. And one of the things that I've learned in the Planning Commission is that we have room to grow, but we have to manage the growth. And as has been said previously, we understand that the Wasatch Front is going to grow, and it's going to grow almost exponentially, and it's coming whether we like it or not. And we've got to manage the infrastructure, we've got to manage the funds, we've got to manage how housing is going to develop, and we've got to manage how the cost of housing is going to be portrayed. I was talking to Councilmember Stewart earlier about my 19-year-old's living in my basement, and I think he's going to be living there probably for the next 20 years because I'm not sure he can afford a house. And we've got to manage that. We've got to manage how developers are going to develop. We're built out in South Ogden just like Ogden is, probably the way North Ogden is, probably the way many of these cities are. We've got to manage that. So my idea of being a candidate and being a good council member is being a good steward, not steward, steward, and being a good manager of the city's funds and taking care of the revenues that we're being given. And I'm not saying that those that are sitting up on that seat are doing a bad job now, but I have a vision of South Ogden and I have a vision of where the Wasatch Front is going. I sit on the Legislative Affairs Committee of the Chamber of Commerce. I've sat on there for several years and interact with our legislators a lot. And I face their fears and I understand where they're coming from. And I know that we have a long road to hoe and can see that we have work to be done. And my plan and my project is to see that it's done and done in the right way. Again, my name is Jeremy Allen. I'm running for City Council in South Ogden.
Hello, I'm Susan Stewart, and I'm running for City Council in South Ogden. I'm currently on the South Ogden City Council. I've served about one term, finishing my first. I feel like we have two issues that are intertwined, related to each other. We've got aging infrastructure that needs to be dealt with and updated and make sure that it's not going to fail on us in a time of crisis. And then the situation with housing, we need to find ways of mitigating the development that is coming in a way that it doesn't as adversely impact the people that have already committed to our community and already live in our community. So those are the issues that I think we need to address in South Ogden: housing and infrastructure. And I'm Susan Stewart, and I'm running for South Ogden City Council.
Hello, thank you for having me here. I'm Ken Pippin. I'm running for mayor of Far West City. I was on the planning commission for 6 years. I've been on the city council for about 6 years now. So now it's time to take the next step. So out in Far West, my wife and I have lived out there for 17 years, and to just kind of share how fast we're growing, we're now considered old timers. That's how much growth there is out there. More people out there have been there fewer years than we have, except for, the 20 some odd people that were there in the beginning. They're still around, many of them. Our biggest challenge out there is growth. It's definitely happening. It's growing like crazy. And it's a challenge for us because we have several things in the way, obstacles. We have I-15 goes right through the middle of us. We have a canal, the Willard Canal, that goes right through the middle of us. We have 2700 North that goes right through the middle of us. And of course, trying to cross any of those to connect the city is a challenge. And trying to get through all of that, and also, we're limited on resources, having to do, we only have so much water, we only have so much outgo on the sewers, and of course, the developers would just love to come in and put some, higher density housing, which there's a lot of folks out where we're at that aren't much interested in that. That's why we moved out there, was to get away from it. So that's our biggest challenge, and hopefully we can handle that by listening to the community, talking with the legislature, keeping them from telling us what to do and allowing us to create our own environments, our own towns, and take care of things the way we want to take care of them. I'm Ken Pippin, running for Far West City Mayor. Thank you.
I'm Sharon Bolos, the current mayor of West Haven. Thank you to Weber County Republican Women for holding this. I really appreciate any opportunity that we have to get in front of our constituents. So thank you, and thank you to those who are here to get educated. I'm currently serving as the mayor, and I've had a lot of success in doing so. One of the big successes that I've had is my ability to lead different councils in the direction that they want to go. So the mayor is not the policymaker, the mayor is the messenger. And as city council members have changed, I've been able to take that message to our partners in Weber County and in neighboring cities to let them know what West Haven stands for and what direction we are going. The biggest issue that we have facing West Haven, like many of the western cities, is our growth. And the way to handle the growth is to plan for the growth. The general plan is very important, and I've seen the general plan change a little bit over the years, sometimes substantially. But what we do is plan for that, and when it happens, it happens. And our faith in our general plan is the most important thing. So as different city councils make tweaks to that general plan, my job as the mayor is to take that message to the developers, take that message to the community. I've been very successful in opening up avenues to take that message to people. I have great relationships that I've built with our partners in Weber County and with neighboring cities. I've also started other communication efforts like Meet the Mayor and senior luncheons that I host, where I can invite guests to come and speak to the senior members of our community. And my job is just to get out there and let the people know what West Haven wants, what West Haven needs, and what we stand for. I would appreciate your support as the mayor of West Haven. Thank you.
I'm Ryan Saunders. Thank you to everyone that's here taking a look at the candidates. Really appreciate your involvement. I'm running for West Haven City Council, and thank you to all the candidates. It's not an easy thing to put your name out there, so kudos to them for being willing to stand up and get involved. I've lived in West Haven for 47 years, and I think I'm probably one of the oldest as far as residents, as far as longest there running for West Haven City office. So I've been there a long time, raised my 4 children there with my wife who's here today. And we love West Haven. It's a great place to raise a family. And I'm excited to try to get involved. For the past 20 years, I've helped run our family business, Saunders Outdoor Advertising. And through that experience, I've had a lot of opportunities to work with other city councils in our business, and also work with state agencies and landowners. And so I think I can bring that experience to this office if I'm elected. And as has been mentioned by the mayor, growth is our big issue out in the West Haven area. It's something that's always on the citizens' mind. And having lived there for 47 years, I've seen all the growth, and I realize that we're not going to stop that growth. So we need to be forward thinking and look at how to best utilize that growth and make sense of it, and to protect our resources like water. We're in a drought right now. We live in the second driest state, so we need to take a look at our general plan. It's been a while since it's been updated, and if I'm elected, that's one of the things that I'll be focused on is where do we grow in ways that make sense and preserve our natural resources, and also attract commercial development. Some of the things that are concerned to West Haven citizens is not having a city tax. In order to avoid that, you're going to have some kind of revenue come in. So I'd like to see if there's ways that we can develop that for commercial opportunities. And so thank you again for being here. Again, my name is Ryan Saunders. I'm running for West Haven City Council.
My name is David Smith, running for West Haven City Council. Appreciate you inviting us all here today so we could discuss and go over what we feel would help our communities. Now, I've lived in West Haven for nearly 24 years, where we, as a wife and I, we raised 2 children who, this is the only city they've known, never ever lived in it. They've loved living here. Some of the concerns that a lot of my neighbors have shared with me that it's not uncommon to the rest of the county is the exponential growth that's been happening. And we've seen our fair share. Most of it's been residential growth, which they would like to see slow down a little bit. But on the other hand, they've also encouraged to have more commercial development come in. I mean, no offense to our neighboring cities, but we would actually, they would like to see a grocery store built in our city, so we're not having to shop in Roy or Ogden or Plain City. We want to be able to bring the tax money to our city instead of putting it in your coffers. And I mean, we've seen an uptick, as far as what the growth has had impact. It is impacting our infrastructure. In many parts of the city, it's also impacting their quality of life. had many neighbors and citizens share concerns the fact that, we used to be a quiet community, but now we've got traffic running 24/7. And, back in the day, you used to be able to hear crickets, at night. Now it's the sounds of motorcycles and modified exhaust running up and down the street. So if elected, we would like to be able to encourage managing the growth we have and bringing in commercial that's actually going to help support our city so that we hopefully for the next few years can avoid implementing a city tax. Again, my name is David Smith, running for West Haven City Council.
Well, thank you again. My name is Rob Vanderwood, and I'm running for West Haven City Mayor. And I've been on the City Council now for 4 years. I've served on the Special Service District for the Sewer District for about 4 years. And I've also participated on the Events Committee for about 7 years. If you've been to West Haven during our time, any of the neighboring cities, we have a fantastic car show. If you haven't been there, it's pretty fun. We also, I think, try to look at ways that we can improve the city. The city is doing well, but there's things that we have some deficits in that we need to work on. We need to work on some things to fix those. And I think that comes through strong leadership and the opportunity that we have to review those things. And how do you do that? You do it through the community. The community needs to be involved more. As they are involved with your decision processes, as you walk through, many of them feel like they haven't had a voice. And that's discouraging because we want people to be involved with the city. We want them to help plan it, make it a beautiful place for them to live, for their families to live, and everybody to enjoy. So that's one of the major things. And of course, growth comes up all the time because we're inundated with that because we have land. Anytime you have open space, people want to fill that in. It's just natural. So in that process, though, we've run into infrastructure issues. And we're working on that. But the city council's approved a lot of widening the roads and trying to repair, but we haven't prepared for the depth of the growth that's coming still. We had kind of a setback with the costs of construction, everything that's involved with that. And now people are starting to build again. So we're seeing some real increases in that building. So from moving forward, I hope that we can continue to grow our city in the right direction under controlled growth. And again, my name is Rob Vanderwood, and I'm running for mayor of West Haven City. Thank
you. My name is Clarence Kelly, born and raised in Weber County, born in Ogden, raised in Roy. After graduating from Weber State University, short stint, well, not real short, 10 years that we went up to the state of Washington, and then came back. And when we came back, we moved to West Haven, not far from Roy. But we've absolutely loved it. I'm the father of 4 children, and immediately after moving back to West Haven, our children, our oldest boys at that time, got involved in the Youth City Council, West Haven Youth City Council. And of course, that created an opportunity as parents supporting your children to also get involved. So all that the Youth City Council was doing, we were always there with them. And all 4 of our children served in the Youth City Council. And that was really the bulk of our involvement. And partially because, for me, family is always first. And so whatever our children were doing, we were always going to be there for them and supporting them in all that they do. And so a lot of our community service and everything that we were involved in included them as we served together. I'm running for city council, and once again, my decision to run was not so much because of huge concerns that we were headed in the wrong direction. West Haven is a beautiful city and a great place, a safe place to raise a family, and a wonderful place to be. Yeah, there are certain areas where you don't hear a lot more crickets anymore. I happen to be far enough west that we still sleep with our window open and we do hear crickets. So they do still exist, they're just a little further west, Dave. But I do want to preserve that. But I understand that that landowners have rights. And so it's not as cut and dry as everybody thinks it might be. It's like, oh, we'll just turn everybody down and we stay country. But it's just not that simple. The problem is that not everybody knows that and understands that. And so I say amen to really almost everything that's been said up here, and including what Rob was mentioning, which was that the community needs to get involved more. I truly believe that's the answer. Most people that don't understand that you can't just simply say no to everybody is because they've never been to a city council meeting. They've never been to any organizations or events that are happening. They're not involved, and so they don't know. And so they just aren't aware of everything that's happening. And that's where I think we need to put an emphasis. I think a lot of people would get involved if we invited them in the right way. And so those are some of the biggest change that I would like to see, is that somehow we find a way to reach out to people and invite them. A lot of people do want to help, they just don't know how, and they don't even know where to get started. A simple invitation might be exactly all that they need. And so the unity in West Haven, getting more people involved, I think will also answer a lot of the problems and issues that we might be coming up with growth. And at least people will be more educated and understand what the growth is all about. But I do think we do need to control it as much as we can, and embrace commercial growth, obviously. And I think those are the things that will help West Haven at this time. So Clarence Kelly, and I'm running for City Council.
Thanks everyone for coming today. This is such a great opportunity to learn more about the candidates. I'm JD Dalpass. I'm running for City Council in North Ogden City. Lauren and I, my wife is sitting right here. We've been married for 13 years. We have 3 children together, ages 1 through 8. And my profession right now is a program manager at MarketStar. Part of what I'll be able to bring to the table on the City Council with my experience at work is that I am a manager of people. I am dealing with interpersonal relationships and different personalities and different perspectives all of the time. And to the question that was posed of what is the biggest issue that's facing North Ogden City, I think that we see a great disparity right now between where we're at on our property taxes versus our sales taxes. I think that we need to focus on economic growth in North Ogden City. We need to invite great businesses to be a part of our city and help them be set up for success and to thrive in our city. We are definitely property tax heavy as it is right now. We have many, many homes that are existing in the city, and they don't, if anyone knows much about city economics, it is not the property taxes and homes that bring in money for the budget of a city. It is all about the sales tax revenues that are brought in. And so I'm currently serving as the chairman of the Economic Development Committee in North Ogden City. It's something that I will put a lot of effort behind. I will be putting all of my heart into finding businesses that can set up in North Ogden and help us in that department, because it's all about providing additional amenities through that money. So if we have these businesses that are coming, they will be able to help us with the trails and the parks and the special things that us as citizens want. Again, JD Dalpass, running for North Ogden City.
Spencer Stevens, North Ogden City Council. So the biggest issue that I see today is growth. And this is where I can bring the biggest strength. I'm a builder. And as a builder, I understand the back-end economics. I understand what the developer's going through. I also understand what the city's trying to accomplish. I can help bridge that gap. We have a few large developments going on in North Ogden right now that aren't going well. The development agreements started being negotiated many, many years ago, have holes in them. I can help fill those holes. I can help make sure that the residents buying in those developments are getting the amenities and getting the things that they paid for, the things that they've asked for. The way one of our developments stands now, unfortunately, the city has very little that they can do to force that developer to bring those amenities and things in until the final phases of the deal. I can fix that. I can also help through the economic development. I understand the commercial development side of things. I can help make sure that we incentivize businesses to come to North Ogden, to increase that sales tax so that our property taxes don't continue to go up. Again, my name is Spencer Stevens, North Ogden City Council.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Casey, and I'm running for North Ogden City Council. I've been a resident of North Ogden for 27 years, raised 3 kids. One of my daughters is a new homeowner in North Ogden. My husband and I own a small business. I also agree that growth is one of the biggest things facing the city. However, I see development as the biggest problem. Working on the General Plan Advisory Committee, I've learned that we can develop smart, balanced, and have growth that is fair to the landowner, the developer, and the surrounding area, the community at large. Also, keeping our natural resources and protecting those. I find this to be extremely important. One of the biggest projects that we have going on right now is looking to move a creek that is a beautiful part of North Ogden. And any development that can damage our natural resources is harmful. And I think that we can make sure that development is smart and balanced and fair to all.
My name is Blake Severin, and first off, I express appreciation to Lorraine. I appreciate you inviting us to participate in this activity today. I am currently the incumbent running for North Ogden City Council, and we, like so many others in North Ogden, are experiencing many issues. The growth in North Ogden, like West Haven, it just continues to happen. Working on the safety of our community, that's always an issue. We currently have an issue with needing to develop a public safety building in North Ogden. So we have many issues that most of us are struggling with in our individual communities. I will never forget, however, when I was working on my Master's of Public Administration at BYU, having a professor that was a professor of government, and he created somewhat of a chant as we began class. He would come in and say, as he put his hand to his ear, "Who is the government?" And as class, we had to respond, "The people are the government." So my goal 4 years ago, when I ran for city council initially, after having served on the planning commission and also on the economic development committee, I wanted to give voice to more people. I'm not afraid to go on, knock on doors, and I've done it many times in my 4-year experience on the city council. So my issue is to continue to develop transparency, to educate the citizens and give voice to the people, which is where we all need to be, right, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Underwood?
Hello, I'm Kevin Homer. I was born in Logan, Utah, and I'm the son of Marilyn and Richard Homer, who were also born here in Utah. I've lived almost all of my life here in northern Utah, except for a couple of years in South America, across the river from Paraguay, lived in Argentina. I have lived here, and I have been a student of political systems, whether it's the founding principles here in the United States or Marxism, socialism. I've been a student of economic systems, whether it's the free market systems that we have here in the United States or communism or Keynesian economics. All of this can be summed up in the 4 words of my campaign, which is maximum liberty and minimum government. It's interesting to me that almost every single one of the cities that are represented here and in other places have the same concerns. We want to be able to manage development correctly. We want to be able to reinforce and build our tax structure and as well as the infrastructure in the cities. For me, it's very important how we do that. Currently, most of the systems that we work under use a lot of money from the federal system, which for me is a very big problem, a very big concern. I would like to change the systems and the programs, specifically in Roy, so that some of the things that take so much federal money are changed so that they are funded locally. Very, very big changes that would happen. So when I was 17, I took an oath when I entered the Air Force to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Like most people here, everyone that would be elected we would all take the same oath. It is my goal to live by those principles, the founding principles of the United States and the Constitution. If I'm elected, I will continue to do that, and I will do my very best to be an oath keeper. Roy City Council candidate.
I'm Sophie Paul, and I'm running for Roy City Council. I was born and raised in Bountiful, Utah, and then my husband and I got married and we came to Roy, where we've raised 4 children from the ages of 12 to 24. And I'll tell you, my family loves Roy. There's not much that they don't love about it. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And hats off to everyone up here and those that put this on. The opportunity to be before people and to make an educated, have an educated vote. I applaud you guys for doing that. One of our biggest problems that I think, after speaking with Chief Gwen and Chief Golden, big problem we have in our city is our public safety and the ability to ensure that their future needs and the current needs are taken care of. Because as of right now, we are the lowest paid in Weber County, and that is a huge problem for our city. Our officers use our city as a revolving door. They train, they get educated. We put a lot of time and money into them, and then they leave because other agencies are there ready to take them. And I think that is a big problem. I want to be a part of the solution to find ways to be able to enable them to stay, to be able to enable them to work where they want to work. I know Roy is a great city to work for. I just want to be able to compensate them for what they do. And anyway, I'm running for Roy City Council, and my name is Sophie Paul.
Thank you. My name is Randy Scadden. I am also running for Roy City Council. I effectively lived in Roy 26 of my almost 42 years of existence. And I'm going to honestly echo exactly what Sophie said. I mean, knowing and understanding we have a crisis as it relates to law enforcement payment as well as first responder payment with firefighters. Having gone on 2 ride-alongs since I've announced my candidacy, I wanted to honestly see firsthand what it was our police department was up against. What a lot of people don't realize in our great city of Roy is we're running at incredibly minimal staffing levels, which results in the inability to take and respond to calls. If we have all of our officers already on a call, they can't turn and dispatch others to that. So again, ultimately, at the end of the day, we are, as potential city council members or as potential mayors, beholden to the actual people. So again, the number one issue that I see there is definitely, and the people have spoken, is the fact that we have a crisis brewing as it relates to, especially in Roy, our law enforcement. How we go about taking and rectifying that is we're going to have to look at ways for economic development to bring in additional tax revenues to basically pay for additional headcount within the actual police department. Because over the past, I want to say almost 20 years, even as Roy has continued to grow over the last couple of censuses, we have not increased our actual police department headcount.
Wow.
So again, Randy Scadden, Roy City Council, thank you very much.
Sure, you don't have anything to say? And do you want to go so I don't break up Roy here? I don't want to be that girl. Okay, oh, you're not. All right. And thank you for taking the pressure off me. I thought I was going to keep all these guys here from eating their lunch, but that's you now. So thanks. I am Christy Bell. I am city council in Uinta City. I am running for re-election. My first term is almost up. When I first put in for city council, I didn't really have a clear-cut agenda. I just wanted to be part. I wanted to do my part for the city and become involved. When I jumped into city council, I learned very quickly that though we are small, 1,300 people, we are still held to all of the same regulations, rules, and guidelines that our bigger neighbors here are. And we do that on a very low and limited budget. 1,300 people and a handful of businesses. We do that with 4 full-time, 3.5 staff. So as you can imagine, we have our hands full, and our city council also takes on a lot of those roles as well, and we're a working council. So with all of that, we've done really well at running a very lean budget, making our ends meet, while doing everything that we need to do. So when I became involved, I was put over a couple areas that I've been able to get a better feel for what UNT needs. The first one was Bonneville Cities, Communities That Care. I'm the chair for that currently. I've become very involved in our water issues in our city, and I currently sit on the Division of Drinking Water board, and I bug the sheriff's department whenever I possibly can. So because of that, the infrastructure in Uinta City is aging, it's crumbling. It's something that's been kicked down the road for years. Those are, as you guys would know, those are huge projects that take a lot of money to fix, and a lot of times they're not easy to resolve. We have a couple water tanks on the hillside that are 50 plus years old that are starting to crumble, and how do you pay for that with 1,300 people? So what I've been doing the last 3.5 years is looking for creative solutions. To do that, we've tackled a couple of projects by being creative and partnering with neighbor communities and partnering with other entities to help fund those, and we've been able to get a couple large projects done. A big one that we have coming down the road is very large. So we've taken that to be creative, to look for funding. How can we do this with only 1,300 people? And Uinta City, we're small, infrastructure's aging. That's probably our biggest hurdle that we're going with now. And a lot of these same issues, I could echo them all. I could stand up here forever, so I'll just say yes, except a couple of you. Some of you, I'm just kidding. But thank you. So Christy Bell, Uinta City.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me, Lorraine. And I'm Doug Allen. I'm from Huntsville. I'm the only one here, and it's refreshing to know that everyone has the same problems. I'm not going to say anything about that because Ken said something about, I think your House Bill 82 thing. We just passed ours last week, and we were all furious that the legislature was going to tell us how we could run our town. So anyway, I need to read this because I'm not very good at this, but so roots don't go much deeper in Huntsville than the Allen family tree after 5 generations. I'm a proud member of 2 great families that settled in Huntsville in 1864, and we remain today. I was brought up in the ways of early farm and ranch folk. It's been my privilege to live there and serve my community for 62 years. I hope I'm not the oldest candidate here. I know I'm not. I talked to as an energetic teenager, I began helping with the Huntsville 4th of July celebration in 1974. And I ended my career there in 2017 when, if you remember the Catholic monastery that was there, and I was in charge of the patriotic program, and Father Allen, as they're all gone now. He was a pilot in World War II, and we honored him that day, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I loved him. I would like to seek more input and citizen involvement for the future of Huntsville, and to be prudent with our taxpayer dollars. Of course, this is all I have. I didn't make signs or anything. There's 642 people in Huntsville. Only about 200 of them vote. So I didn't need to put signs up, and I'm glad I didn't. I served as a member of the Huntsville Volunteer Fire Department for 10 years before I joined Weber Fire District and became a professional firefighter, EMT, and I wish I'd had somebody trying to pay me more money when I was working there. It would have been great. I've been retired from that job for about 10 years, and I was the senior captain in Weber County for a lot of years. Worked with Roy people often and had a great relationship with their paramedics and everybody that worked out there. And they're all retired now, the ones that I worked with. I was on the waterworks for 8 years, our irrigation board. That's how I started my career. And then under Mayor Jim Truitt, that's been there for 12 years, the very first thing he did was put me on the planning commission, where most of my experience lies. And I served 4 years on the council, and now I'm currently the chairman of the planning commission. 2017, I was the recipient of the Mayor's Choice for the Outstanding Citizen Award for my devotion. As I've heard all your issues, and they're all the same, I think it's a huge thing. I can urge you all to do two things as council members. Support your planning commission. Support your planning commission. Don't second guess them. That's one of the struggles we're having. Planning commissioners have been there for years. I have some that have been there 12, 15, 20 years. Several of them. Sandy Hunter, she's running for council. She couldn't be here today. It's an awesome lady. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do the job. And I tell everybody, if you're not going to vote for Sandy, don't vote for me, because I don't know what I'll do without her. She's going to move up, hopefully. Councils change all the time. There's an election every 4 years. Planning commission is the only chance you have for somebody with some experience. I urge everyone to just support your planning commission. It's been a real struggle. We get people coming in and they have an idea that their opinion is wonderful, and it might be, but it's not really a good thing to go against the planning commission. I urge that. The other thing I want to urge everybody to do, and we're in the computer age, we had our Meet the Candidates night for Huntsville Town at the library the other night, last Tuesday. And there's more people here right now than there was there. The next day, everybody said, we didn't know about that. How come we didn't know about that? Well, in the little town of Huntsville, about 50% or more of our citizens are older than me. Let's leave it at that, okay? And they don't do email. They don't do the email blast. They don't get the information. And with this COVID thing and Zoom meetings and everything, it's been awful because people don't know what's going on. There's two major issues going on in Huntsville right now. They're talking about building a new town hall, selling the old one. Nobody wants that, and nobody knew about it. The other one is some other budget money they're going to spend. Nobody knew about it. Nobody wants it. I hope you all reach out. How do I say this delicately? We have to reach out. We have to send out newsletters, send it out in the water bill, whatever you have to do to reach out to the older folks, of which our community is a big part of. And I was going around town passing these things out on my bicycle. And it was a privilege and an honor to sit with, I'll just name some names, Shirley. Sat on her porch for an hour with her, talked to her. She was canning peaches that day. I could go on with Connie. I sat with her on her lawn chair and talked. Every one of them had a question, and I tried to give the best answer I could. The important thing was, it didn't matter what my answer was. They just wanted to be heard. They just wanted to be heard. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Anyway, thank you to our candidates here. Wonderful to hear your comments. And I was just thinking, hearing all the duplicate issues, maybe the model needs to change. Maybe the model needs to change in terms of funding public safety and so forth. Maybe we're not able to do it at the city level anymore. I don't know. Anyway, interesting questions. We are about out of time, but a lot of these candidates have brought material for you to pick up and learn more about them. I would encourage the candidates to go now where your signs are around the room. And if you will just go around and talk to these candidates, get the information that they have brought with them in terms of brochures and things to give you. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Oh, I also want to say one more thing. Our next month, we are having Ally Isom and Becky Edwards, who are running for the Senate, speak to us. So we'll look forward to that meeting on November 1. Thank you.